Card King, here I come. Hello, sports fans, sports collectors, and all hobbyists. Welcome to the Card King Sports and Variety Show. I am your host, the Catman, Brian Cataquet, a.k.a. the Card King. We are live on ABC's KMET 1490 AM.com, your number one spot right here for news and talk on the West Coast. I thank everyone for tuning in this morning. On the telephone line, I welcome to the program one of the finest fielding shortstops in Major League Baseball. He played during the 1970s. I welcome in former Braves infielder Marty Perez. Marty, great to have you.
Hey, it's great to be here. It's great to be alive.
Well, you sound great, and I spoke to you earlier. You sound fine, and Marty, reading your career, I did not know that the Big Bear, as he was nicknamed, Mike Garcia, who pitched for that 1950s Indians team along with Bob Feller, Bob Feller, Early Win, was a cousin of yours.
Yeah, well, that's kind of that's what we said. They were real close to our family, and when they asked me the question about that, I said, "Yeah, he's my cousin." And actually, his brother, back in the day when my brother and I were, right around 10, 11, 12, his brother carried a lot of the Hispanics to the fields. So my dad decided we needed to work. So we had to get on his truck and go and pick grapes and whatever, and that was his brother. And they said his brother was a better player than Mike.
Really?
So I think in 1973 or 4, I can't remember. It was before Mike died. I had met with him in Cleveland for breakfast or whatever it was, and I asked him the question about that. He said, "Yeah, my brother was a hell of a player." But, I finally got to meet Mike. I never did meet him until that day. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, and, Marty, 1964, right after you graduated high school, big year for you, the Los Angeles Angels, you get the opportunity to sign for them as an amateur free agent. How did the Angels hear about Marty Perez?
Well, there was a fella in our community, or right around the community, that scouted, in Fresno and Bakersfield and Visalia. I can't remember his name, but he recommended the Angels to sign me, and I did go to. My coach did a bad thing. He didn't do too many bad things, but this is one bad thing. I don't think he realized what he was doing, but they invited me to a tryout with the Angels when I was still in high school, and you weren't supposed to do that in Sawtelle, California, and it was kind of an unusual thing. I just did my thing. My coach come up to me and says, "When you take batting practice, try to hit one over the fence," and I said, "That's kind of weird." So I did. I hit one over the left center field fence in batting practice, and I guess it must have encouraged him to sign me. Then I had a really good game. I got a hit off of Tom Seaver at that time. He was pitching for the Fresno City College at that time, and I've always been a fastball hitter, and of course he threw a lot of fastballs. But and that was my experience as far as trying out for the Angels.
But baseball wasn't your favorite sport; it was basketball, right?
Absolutely, loved basketball. Basketball.
You had a good jump shot. You had a good jump shot.
I had a great jump shot. There's a good story about that. I remember back in my sophomore year in high school, I wasn't a varsity player yet, and I'm not sure if you know Roland Todd. He played in the NBA for a long time, and he was one of the athletic coaches there. And I don't think he wasn't coaching basketball or anything, but he was in the gym shooting baskets, and I just watched him. I said, "Dang, that guy's pretty good. I wonder who he is." And so he saw me looking at him, and and I told him that I wanted to play varsity basketball. He said, "Well, let me see your shot." So I took a shot, and he said, "No, that's not the way to throw, shoot a jump shot." And he showed me how to shoot a jump shot. And from there, when I tried out for the varsity, I made the varsity junior and my senior year. And I was only 5'9".
Really?
Yeah.
I found that really intriguing. Basketball was your favorite sport, but 18 years old, you signed with the Angels, and then you immediately get reported to Idaho Falls in the Pioneer League rookie ball.
Pioneer League, yeah, right.
Right. When you first got there, how did you find the competition? You felt it was competitive?
It was very competitive. You remember, I was only out of high school. Hold on just a second. I noticed a lot of the players were college players and players that came from Venezuela and Puerto Rico, and that's all they did over there was play baseball. And as the season went, I just realized that I was just as good as they were, even though I'm just out of high school.
I mean, you were. I'm looking at your stats. You hit 273 as a rookie. Rookie ball. You hit 273, one home run, and 18 RBIs in 42 games. So you did pretty good. Your rookie ball.
Right. Yeah. That was kind of there was a story behind that too.
Go ahead.
Which I tell when I give my testimony in churches and whatever, and I grew up as a Catholic, and I think I was hitting maybe 215 or 220 at the time for the first 4 or 5 weeks, and I said, something's wrong, and I told my roommate Mark Schultz, who's now passed away. I said, "Mark, I'm going to go to church." And he said, "Okay." So that Sunday, I went to church. I got on my knees, and after the mass, after the service, I got down on my knees and I said, "Lord," I said, "I promise you, I'll go to church from now on if you just give me a real good rest of the year." And that was it. And then I started hitting like crazy after that. And I said, "Well, I better go to church every Sunday." And that's why I got up to 273, which is a kind of a cute story anyway.
Right.
My mom liked it.
Oh, of course. And then Quad City in the Class A ball, there you played 53 games but missed 4 weeks. You were spiked and you missed 4 weeks. How was that injury? That must have been tragic, huh?
No, I didn't get spiked that year. That was when I got hit in the wrist with a pitch and broke my wrist. I still remember Eric Salmon, a pitcher in spring training. He had that sinker slider, and when I leaned in, the ball came in on me and hit my wrist and broke it. So I didn't have any spring training, hardly. And then when I got back, they sent me down from San Jose to Davenport, Iowa, and I was okay. I just wasn't hitting very good, and they said, we need to send you down to Idaho Falls. And they did. I hit 3-something in Idaho, and they sent me back up to San Jose, which is a higher Class A. And I think I hit 250 while I was there. Then it was kind of uphill from there. It was Class A in Davenport, Iowa again, and I think, if I remember, I hit around 289, 290, and was named Western United States Shortstop. And then I just kept going from there. It was great. I loved it.
You did. Now, also the Sun Kings you played for. Now, was that under manager Chuck Tanner at the time?
Right. Yeah, that was 1968. Chuck was the Double-A manager, and we had won that division and won the playoffs, and we beat I think it was Arkansas, which was a St. Louis affiliate, and that's where Jerry Royce pitched. He's the only guy who ever hit me in the head.
Did he really? So how did that happen?
Reminded him. Well, he
tell
threw
us that
pretty.
story.
He threw. Yeah, we were playing in Arkansas, and the lights in minor leagues are not very good, and you should be able to get away from somebody throwing at your head, unless you don't have very good reactions. But he's a left-hander, and he threw probably 95 during those days, and some reason he threw a ball inside, and I guess I was looking for it away or something. I don't know. And he came in on me, and when I turned my head to keep from getting hit in the temple, it hit the back of my head and cracked the helmet. And I went, they wanted to take me out again. I said, I'm fine. I went to first base, and the rest is history, And then he didn't remember when I finally texted him. I think it was either this year or last year. And so you remember when you hit me in the head, you jerk? He said, no, I don't remember that. And he said, yeah. And that was, it was in Little Rock. But yeah, that was the only time I ever got hit in the head. I've had a lot of close calls, but never got hit again in the head. Every other place, though.
Yeah, I was looking at a Sporting News issue from 1968 where they mentioned Marty Perez. The article described you as an exceptional young shortstop. And I know Tanner thought very highly of you. I mean, 68, Marty, you led the Texas League in assists at shortstop with 363 assists and 72 double plays. So you saw a lot of action in the field. You were some fielder,
right.
very fluid. Who taught you your fielding abilities?
I didn't have anybody. My coach was a pitcher in high school. He'd always tell me to keep my glove, in front of me, and that's about all he knew about fielding. But I guess it was self-taught. It's just reaction, I guess. You get out there and you react to the ball, And I read a lot of different stuff. I watched other, the major leaguers play. When I would watch the way the infielders would field the ball, and that's kind of the way I learned how to keep the ball in front of me. And then they had a roving instructor in the minor leagues, Al Monchak, for the Angels, and he got me out there one time in spring training, and he had me sit on a chair at shortstop, and they kept hitting me ground balls. Just hit me ground balls. And you had to sit on the chair and field the ground balls. Well, that keeps your behind down. So the main thing is that I realized was that if you're too high, if you're standing too high, and you go down and field the ground ball, if that ball comes up, it's gonna, if your head bobbles too much, the ball's gonna bobble too. So that's where you make most of your errors. So you got to stay down level with the ground and make sure the ball, when it does come up, you come up with it. Well, sometimes you don't. It doesn't happen, but that's why you make errors. But that's going to happen. Every infielder makes errors. I don't care who you are.
Absolutely, and we're talking with Marty Perez, who, let me mention some of these teams. He played for the Angels in 69-70, played for the Atlanta Braves, 71-76, played for the Giants in 1976, played for the Yankees in 1977, and ended his career with the A's in 77-78. A lot of teams there, Marty. So you were called up a lot of teams. Talk about your major league debut. If I remember correctly, or if I read correctly, you came in for relief for Jim Fregosi. Is that what happened? September 1969. Right.
It was. You asked me to remember all these things. It's been so long. It's been like 50 years or something like that. 55 years. How long has it been? I'm going to be 80 in February, so I'm trying to remember back. But I think it was 69. I came in a couple of times, I think, before they sent me down. Actually, they sent me down from spring training. Then I came up at the end of the year, and then I relieved Fergosi for one game, I think it was. Maybe it was more than that. Then in 72, of course, I stayed for a while, and then they sent me back down again. But a lot of this, if I didn't have somebody behind me picking me up and encouraging me and giving me advice sometimes, of course, you don't. A lot of players don't like listening to their wives, but we really do, and that was the encouragement I had. That's why I lasted so long. Otherwise, I never would have made it without some backing from my wife. But that's the way it is. Every player has somebody, and my person was my wife.
And Marty, 6 seasons with the Atlanta Braves, a team that had Hank Aaron, Darrell Evans, Eddie Matthews, and so on. I got to ask you a few questions on Hank Aaron. I mean, how was it when you first got there? How was Henry Aaron? Did he treat you well?
Yeah, Henry was. We ended up friends even after baseball. We got together and played golf and stuff. And he, my first road trip was I think it was in Chicago, and he said, "Hey," I can't remember if he called me Taco or if he called me Marty, but Taco was my nickname in baseball. I think it was just Marty at that time because it was in '71. And he said, "Come on, I want you to go with me to dinner." And I said, "Oh, okay." So he took me to dinner, and we had a good time. And he was very cordial. Didn't say much. He's a very, very reserved person, and you can understand why. With all the stuff going on with his record, going for the home run record. At that time, I think he had close to 600 home runs, and then he got to the 600 home run, I think, in '71 when he hit 47 home runs, I think. Right around there, because I remember he hit that 47th home run was the same day I hit my 8th.
Oh, okay. So, that's a fun fact.
That was funny. And he said, "Well, I need you to sign my ball too," but I couldn't find it. They didn't throw it back to me. So he just laughed about it. He signed the ball, his 682nd home run to me though, which was really cool.
Very cool. And I got to mention this because I didn't know this. I think it was September 10th, 1973, where you, Marty Perez, became part of the Rare Club. You were the 4th player of just 6 batters to ever pinch hit for the great Hank Aaron. Right.
Yeah, that was kind of unusual. I was I think it was on I don't know what it was, 15 game hitting streak, and it was the middle of the summer, and it was screaming hot. Eddie Matthews was the manager, and he was up to bat, and I didn't play that day, and he was up to bat, and he got a real bad muscle spasm, and he couldn't hardly move. And Eddie Matthews says, "Marty, get a bat, go pinch hit for Henry." I said, "What?"
Wow.
Everybody looked at me like, "Well, you're on a hitting streak. Why would he want you to pinch hit? He could have got anybody else, Well, anyway, I made an out. I think the bases were loaded, and I think I made an out. I keep telling people I hit a ball into the where Pete Rose caught it at the warning track, but I don't know how true that is. I thought that was a better scenario than saying I grounded out or something,
But I mean, as you can see, 6 hitters ever pinched hit for the great Hank Aaron in his long 22 season career. You were number 4.
I know. Yeah, I know. I always told everybody I was the first. I was the first one. I didn't know. I just assumed. I didn't think anybody pinch hit for Hank Aaron. That's why I thought I was the first one.
Wow, and Eddie Matthews was the one who made that decision.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Right. Yeah, he was a great manager. He just had some other problems.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Eddie Matthews, a good baseball mind, good baseball manager.
Oh yeah, everybody loved Eddie Matthews, but with his issues, they couldn't handle it, so they fired him. And I don't even remember who took his place. I think it was Connie Ryan or somebody like that.
All right, now I got to ask you about the Yankees because I'm originally from New York City. 1977.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, 1970. But I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm a Met fan. 77.
Oh.
You played for Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. How did you? What was your feeling about playing for the Yankees? Were you proud or not really to wear the pinstripes?
Well, yeah. Anytime anybody in those days, I don't know. Now it seems like everybody goes to the Yankees, but in those days, they didn't really. There wasn't really a. You got to understand the team they had. They didn't have players that they could. They didn't have players they can trade for that can take the other players, from the Yankees' place. They couldn't take their place. They were just so good. And for me to go down there and be their shortstop, primarily, a substitute. To play all the positions, which I could, and that's why they got me. But they had the opportunity to, I was proud of that. Yeah, since you asked me that, I was very proud of playing for the Yankees. It just didn't work out, and I'm glad it didn't. There was too much other stuff going on. I was there when the right fielder, Reggie Jackson, right. Got in it with Billy Martin, and Billy he didn't go for anybody slushing off. You got to play hard, that kind of deal. And sometimes Reggie, he looks like he was like Andrew Jones. You don't realize that they're running, but it doesn't look like they're running. And when he was running for a fly ball, a ground ball, whatever it was, it looked like he was slushing off on it, and he took him out, and they had a big old argument and almost a fight. But anyway, I got traded to Oakland with Doc Alice for, I think it was Ed Figueroa. And another player, I don't remember, but it was a good time I had there.
That Yankee infielder, I should say, yeah, Marty Perez, you had Greg Nettles at third, Bucky Dent, Willie Randolph. That's right. Some infield.
Right? They had the chicken there too. You remember him, Stanley?
Fred Stanley.
Yeah, they called him the chicken. The chicken man. He ran and looked like a chicken when he ran.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's a funny guy though.
And Chris Chambliss, right? He played Chris Chambliss at first, I think.
Right. And Roy White, Reggie Jackson, Paul Blair, Rivers in center. Oh, hey, like I said, we had a great team. That's why they won the World Series that year. Then they had Randolph, who broke his leg, which he broke his leg after I got there, or after I left. And I would have had a chance to play all year at second base, but they had traded me already. So, but anyway, yeah, that was a good year. Then in the next 2 years, they won the World Series, I believe, didn't they? 76, 77, 78.
Yeah. The championship championship caliber. I want to end it with this. I have a couple of minutes left. Wasn't there an incident with you and John Matlack of the Mets?
Oh my God! Yeah,
I have 1 minute left. I have 1 minute left. What happened there?
Well, there was bases were loaded, and I was up to bat, and I don't know. I don't think there was any outs, maybe one out. He kept throwing me fastballs away, and I kept fouling them off. And then he got me at 0-2, and then he thought he struck me out, but he says it was on the black, and I said it was outside. Finally, I said, okay, he's got to come inside one time. And he came inside. I hit a ball off his head, off his forehead, and it took one hop into the Mets dugout. And he was done for the next 3 weeks. But I have to hand it to him. He won. He was. I think he came out throwing. He did very well that year, and I'm proud of him for doing that, because I scared the heck out of all of us. Including Ron Reed, who was on third base. He about puked.
Wow.
Because it looked like I killed him. So I'm glad I didn't, of course. But anyway, that's the story. And I think it was a bases loaded double, I think, because the ball went in the dugout.
Unbelievable. Well, Marty, I'm actually out of time. But, you have such a long history. I'd love to have you back in the near future. This was great.
Good. Anytime. Just let me know.
Thank you so much, Marty.
Sure, and I appreciate you asking me to get on here with you.
You got it. Anytime. Marty Perez, fantastic infielder during the 1970s for the Atlanta Braves. Until next week, happy collecting to all.